I have the response here, but I don't have it from there. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Grace.
That's bravo. That's bravo. Today, the Holy Church calls us to gather in awe before the most sacred symbol of our salvation, the Precious and Lifegiving Cross. On this feast of the elevation of the Holy Cross, the cross itself is lifted high before our eyes, not as a relic of sorrow, but as the eternal banner of Christ's victorious love. The world in its blindness sees only suffering in the cross, but we as the faithful see in it something deeper, the measureless love of God for humanity. As St. John the Evangelist declares in his Gospel, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." The cross is the proof of that love, engraved not in ink, but in the very flesh of the Son of God. Christ's love is not an idea or a sentiment. It is an act. On Golgotha, it took the form of sacrifice. He who knew no sin willingly embraced shame, nails, and death to lift us up from the abyss. St. Paisios of Mount Athos often said, "The cross is love. Whoever carries it with joy participates in the love of Christ." For St. Paisios, the cross was not a burden imposed from the outside, but the very ladder by which one ascends to God. He reminded us that only love can explain why the Almighty would accept crucifixion at the hands of his own creatures. Let us pause here and contemplate that. How great this love must be that the Creator stretches out his arms on the cross to embrace his creation that had rejected him. The nails did not hold him fast to the cross. His love did. Today, the Church calls us to venerate the cross, not merely as an event of the past, but as a medicine for the present. When Moses lifted the bronze serpent in the desert, those who looked upon it were healed instantly of deadly poison. In the same way, when we behold the cross of Christ with faith, we are healed from the poison of our sin. St. Paisios also wrote, "When we look at the cross, we should think not of pain, but of love, the love of God that redeems us. In every trial, if we see Christ's love, the burden becomes light." He reminds us that our own daily crosses, our sicknesses, our struggles, our humiliations become bearable when united to the cross of Christ. Do we see our sufferings in this light? Or do we run from them, forgetting that Christ has already borne the heaviest cross for us? The world thought the cross was the end of Jesus. Yet from that place of apparent defeat, the greatest victory of all time was won. Through the cross, death was trampled, the gates of Hades were shattered, and humanity was reconciled with God. That is why we chant today and every Sunday, "Through the cross, joy has come into all the world." St. Paisios often emphasized that Christians should never fear when they are under the shadow of the cross. He said, "If Christ had not been crucified, death would not have died. Whenever you feel crushed, remember, it is the cross that opens the way to resurrection." The cross then is not a symbol of despair, but of unshakable hope. It is the sign of God's complete and perfect love, stronger than sin, stronger than death, stronger than the devil himself. But what does this mean for us here and now. The Feast of the Elevation is not only about lifting the cross high in the church, it is about lifting it high in our lives. To elevate the cross means to elevate love over selfishness. To elevate the cross means to forgive even when we are wronged. To elevate the cross means to choose humility over pride, service over domination, sacrifice over comfort. Again, St. Paisius said, a person who sacrifices out of love resembles Christ. He may feel pain, but within that pain he experiences divine consolation. This is how the cross is lived daily, in small acts of self-giving, in bearing one another's burdens, in enduring hardships with patience for the sake of Christ. If we call ourselves Christians yet reject the cross, we are rejecting love itself. But if we embrace the cross, we embrace Christ himself. Today, as the cross in a few moments will be lifted high in the church, let us bow down not only our bodies but our hearts. Let us allow the wood of the cross to carve upon our souls the image of sacrificial love. The cross speaks but a single message, clear and eternal: I love you. Christ says this not in words alone, but in his wounds, in his blood, in his death, and in his resurrection. So let us never despair in our struggles. Let us never think that we are unloved. The cross is the everlasting proof that we are loved beyond measure. St. Paisius once again assures us, if you could see how much Christ loves you, your heart would break with joy. He accepted the cross so that we might embrace him forever. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, let us venerate the cross today with gratitude and with awe, and let us lift it up in our lives, showing forth the same selfless love to others. For only through the cross can we find the resurrection, and only through the cross can we know the fullness of God's love. Through the cross, joy has come into all the world. To Christ our God, who showed us his perfect love on the cross, be glory forever. Amen.